Hi, my name is Derek Ross, and this is Phase 3 of my Database 2 project course for Professor Chen. In Phase 3, it required us to make an application out of our database project that was to recreate Twitter. So in my Phase 3 project here, the goal was to have a authenticated login followed by being able to complete 2 of our queries from 1 to 5 and 2 of our queries from 6 to 10. I'll start off by showing the login for my application, and right away you will notice that if I do not put in correct input, it will not work. And the way this works is whatever I enter here, it's using a library called Volley to connect to my database that I have hosted. I'll see if I can show you. I have the hosted right here. So the way the database is hosted, it's hosted on localhost, and the PHP files that work with that database is hosted through an Apache web server. So once I enter the data here, Volley uses it to connect to that database, and it's going to send this information in sort of an array format to that PHP login file, and if it succeeds, it's going to send me back a JSON response. So right here, I have an incorrect login, so it should fail right away. Now if I was to change this login back to what it should be, what I do is when I get my JSON response, I have it show a toast message to what I'm connecting to. It takes a little bit for it to load anything past here, but should be good now. Now these are the queries that shows. It shows 1 and 2, 6 and 8. So if I was to start off with query 1, it doesn't actually connect right this second. It's just telling you what I'm going to connect to when I submit it. The first query here is to get the tweet with the most likes, and it's going to respond back to the body. And this is for whatever user you logged in. So I logged in for Chenchi, so it should respond that. Now if I was to click submit, it should give me a JSON response, and it'll convert it and output it into toast. So hello world. And if we were to go over to the table for the database, I'll pop it on this screen now, you'll see that there are 2 distinct users and 2 distinct like IDs, but they're for the same post. And if I was to edit that and take a look, that post is for hello world, so that is the correct output. Alright, moving back. Now if we were to go to query 2, again same thing. This just goes to the activity. That toast lets us know where we'll be going when we click it. And for this one, we're looking for the user with the most followers. And the output, the way I have it done in the PHP file, is that it gives you a user followed by the number of followers. So when I click submit, I should get a response inside the toast, which I get Chenchi and 2. And if I was to go over to my database here, I should be able to show you that there are 2 people following Chenchi. It should be Belle and Alice. Chenchi's follower ID is 1, so that is also correct. Now as we get into query 6 and 8, I will explain a little bit more here. Now 6 and 8, we're supposed to have a login validation, but seeing as we just logged in to even get into this app, that really isn't needed in this circumstance. So what I did was I just used the queries itself. For this one, it's looking for the usernames of all the people who sent messages to whoever's logged in. In this case, it's Chenchi. So when I submit it, I should get my answer here, and it says Belle is the only person. So if I was to go to my database here, and I was to pull it up, it should show me that whoever sent a message to Chenchi, which is ID number 1, which looks like it's just from Belle, which Belle is ID's number 2, Alice is number 3. I followed the same exact format that we started off with for the sample data that our teaching assistant gave us. So it looks like this one is also correct. Belle is the only one who sent us anything. And the last query, query number 8. Query number 8 follows the same thing, where it needed a login validation. But again, as we had a login in the beginning, I don't think it makes sense to have it twice, so I just did the query here. For this one, it gives you the option to follow or unfollow and choose who you want to follow. And provided that you don't necessarily enter any bad data, there shouldn't be an issue. I did not set a case where in the application itself or a response what it would do if it got bad response for this. as it was a little bit confusing because I was kind of using a Boolean way to figure out if you're following or unfollowing for a response from the app itself with the radio buttons. But in the case, let's say Chenchi follows Alice, we should be able to submit that. It should let us know that we followed Alice. And if I was to bring up our database, I could go take a look at the follows, and I should see that right here, our new column for Alice is all set. It looks like Chenchi is following Alice. And if we were to do the same thing, but except we chose to actually remove the case for Alice, like in an unfollow, we should be able to click unfollow. This time we'll type in Alice again. Oops. Either way, I also have it trim at the end of this, so even if I was to enter that extra space, it should cut off the tail end of that, and it should just leave Alice. You can do that by .trim and then parentheses at the end of the string. But if I was to submit this, I should be able to pull over the database again and go down to follow, and it is gone now. So it looks like that works exactly as well. Again, I didn't use bad data entries for this one. And that should complete all the queries and complete phase 3 for my project. Thank you.